All right, so next segment.
All
So,
right.
um, what would you tell a single guy who is thinking about getting married, or not getting married, but getting involved with a woman with children? And so, like when I say a single guy, a guy with no kids, getting involved with a woman with children, what would you tell him?
Get ready. You got to get ready because that's a responsibility. And you're bringing into you bring in that's a heavy responsibility, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a heavy responsibility.
Oh, trust me, I've been there more than once.
Right. So I mean, I would just tell them, look, man, just know what you're doing. Like it's just a heavy responsibility, like because first of all, you got to deal with the attitudes, and you know how women are about their children.
I most certainly do.
So you got to bring that element into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You gotta, man. I tell any guy, just know that you're dealing with a whole different element. You're bringing two lives that are going to impact you greatly because they gonna want to do things. They're gonna get on your nerves. They're gonna get on your nerves. They're gonna irritate you. So man, you gotta spend time with them. She's gonna need rides. Can you pick the kid? Can you pick the kids up? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Can you just, I'm not saying no, but you gotta just know what you're doing. You gotta know that.
So
Yeah.
here's why I would tell any guy who doesn't have kids, who's thinking about getting involved with a woman who already has kids. Um, Certain situations are going to be a little different. If the woman's a widow, something like that, I'll give you a pass on that one. However, it's a bad idea, and here's why I say it's a bad idea. And this is just from my experience. I dated women who were single mothers in my 20s, 30s, and 40s, and there have been some constants here. First of all, you're never going to be number one, ever. Her kids are always going to come first, and then a whole list of other people who she deems are important factors in her life, such as family members, pets, and like everything else. You're going to fall down to about 5 or 6 in that pecking order in terms of who's important to her, and that's a fact. That's the fact that I've lived, and that's the fact that I've talked to a bunch of guys in my situation as well. Single guy, no kids, getting involved with a woman with kids. So, that's the first thing. Second, you're going to have to deal with baby daddy drama as well. So, any drama that's going on, with the baby's daddy, that's some other stuff you're going to have to deal with. Next thing that you're going to have to deal with is these ungrateful shits, if you would. You ain't my daddy. You don't tell me what to do. Okay? So, right. So that's another thing you're going to deal with. Another thing I dealt with a whole lot, dating women, with kids, is if their kids do something to upset them, and you're trying to say, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, that was fucked up what they did. Then they're mad at you for talking shit about their kids. The flip side of that is if you, or on the other side of that, well, how come you aren't supporting me? And in those type of situations, you can't win for losing when the kids are fucking up. Because if you support what she's saying, then you're talking shit about her kids. And then if you're not supporting what she's saying, then you're not supporting her. And so it's just a really, bad situation, to be in altogether. So, those are some sticking points that I dealt with.
So
Over. Go ahead.
That's why I had my kids early.
Okay.
I'm glad I'm an old man. I have grandchildren.
Right.
Because when I get tired of them, you going home.
Right.
I'm grandpapa. You can take your kids home with you. And I love my grandchildren. You know what
I know you do.
I love children. I really do. But they can be, we adults. So
Sure.
to the guy that's trying to have a relationship with children, don't do it. I mean, and sometimes it works out because it's not the fatherless child is not their fault.
Right.
So it works out. Like I said, it depends on like what we were talking to in the earlier segment.
It's all about vetting your partners and I guess where they are mentally and psychologically and emotionally in terms of where they're at in their life versus how much of a responsibility you try to take on, because that's a big responsibility.
Hey, that's what I said, man. That's a responsibility, man. You be like, because you're raising children. Right. You're molding them. You're giving them, life. You're showing them life.
Right. Well, the thing is, I mean, you could try to do that sometimes, but like another thing I run into with dating women with children, and it's like, well, you don't have any kids, so you don't know what it's like, in spite of the fact that I'm sitting there dealing with them and, all the chaos and toxicity and stuff like that. But it's just like you sit there and put all that time and effort to it just to be told that you don't understand, like you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
So I experienced that young. I raised a daughter. Mm-hmm. My son, my kid's mother had a child already.
Okay.
We had our challenges. I raised the best that I could. I raised her like she was my daughter.
Okay.
So it wasn't a challenge for me, really. But yeah, it was raising kids, man. We was a family, It was my high school sweetheart. So, we took on the challenge. I raised a girl, then I had a son. Then, I had a son outside of the relationship. Mm-hmm. So, man, it's life, man. It's being a man. You know what I'm saying? It's like doing the manly things you're supposed to do. So, but I wish I could have had my kids by one woman, but it didn't happen that way. So,
right.
It's just, man, it's a part of life. It's part of just growing up, being a man, manning up, People, and see, it's a lot, you gotta think about this. There's a lot of men out here that's raising kids, it's not their kids, they think they're their kids.
Yeah, this is true too. And a lot of people find this out, health issue comes up, and then, they're looking for donors for bone marrow, organs, stuff like that. Oh, you ain't the father.
Because of the women we were talking about. Mm-hmm. We got bodies, man. See, this discussion is coming full circle.
Yeah.
You're correct. We got bodies. Man, listen, have my girl cousins playing the wrong dude. Mm. We was thug lifing it, man. Tupac, man. Man, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
We was out there, man. We was, first of all, we watched, I'm a Washingtonian through and through.
Right. You're a DC guy.
Right. So, hip hop, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, sure. Hip hop. It was Nas, it was Biggie, it was Wu-Tang. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It was the Outlaws. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I know.
Pete. Hip hop. Man, listen. We was raising our kids, man, and it was rough. It was rough.
It wasn't easy.
It was rough, man. We was thugging out here, man, and we were, we working and we was selling drugs, man, and getting money, and it was the beautiful time, the most beautiful time ever. Raising your kids, man, but it was rough. And that's why these kids are the way they are today. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And man, like I said, we can go on and on about that, like, man, I'm glad we made it, Jaja.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, raising kids, man, and running through women, man. It's a lot of women I don't even remember. I don't even remember them, Jaja.
Don't touch that.
That's why I say it's like, Will wasn't lying. Will wasn't lying.
Right. And Will was a freak of nature. I mean, like in terms of athletically.
He's the black athlete getting the money.
Yep.
Freak athlete. Girls, and Bill Cosby and all them.
Yep.
Sex, drugs, rock and roll, man. Star athlete. That man had women fist, man. Just what? Can you imagine, man?
And it was a different time back then too.
You will Chamberlain. Can you imagine that?
Hey, I'm trying to figure out who would be the equivalent of a Wilt Chamberlain today, because I mean, you'd have to probably take a few sports figures and combine them into one, because the guy was just such an anomaly as an athlete back then.
It's different today because we got social media. We had the world can see things. Look at Diddy.
Look at Diddy. Right.
Man, so it's not a big thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So